Welcome to KXAN News Today. Here are your Monday morning headlines. Governor Greg Abbott signing a bill today banning discrimination based on certain hairstyles. Both the House and Senate approving the Crown Act. This would apply to workplaces, schools, and housing policies. 20 other states already passed laws outbanning race-based hair discrimination.
U.S. Secretary of Energy Jennifer Granholm will be in Austin later on today, meeting with utility and clean energy industry leaders, as well as Texans, to talk about the state's clean energy usage and what does it mean for our communities.
The southbound Mopac on-ramp at Barton Skyway is shut down today, expected to be closed for about 2 more months. Central Texas Regional Mobility Authority says it's working to expand the ramp and make some drainage adjustments. A live look over downtown Austin this morning. It is cooler and quiet relatively this morning, but things are going to heat up quickly throughout the day. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tom Miller.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sally Atlantis, meteorologist Kristen Curry here with a look at what to expect today and the rest of the week, Kristen.
Yeah, it's going to be a hot week. That will be a word you hear several times this morning because there's really no other way to say it. It's going to get nasty with the temperatures this week. Clouds and radar not showing us anything too exciting. For the most part, we stay dry for the majority of the day. It's not until this evening do we start to track some potential rain chances. But live look up in Round Rock, the view courtesy of our Whittlesey Landscape Supplies camera showing I-35 moving smoothly in this stretch and just a little bit of cloud cover up top. These temperatures certainly warmer than normal, that's for sure. 78 degrees right now in Austin, 77 Marble Falls, 77 in Llano. Certainly no need for the jacket this morning, that's for sure. And as we get into the later part of the day, you can expect our third triple-digit day of the year. 100 degrees expected to be the high, but again, you can't discount that humidity, getting back up to a feels-like temperature of 105 today. Coming up in your first warning forecast, we've got a long stretch of triple digits, unfortunately, ahead of us. We're talking about a severe risk later today, so I have more on that for you, plus even hotter temperatures on the way later this week. It gets worse before it gets better when it comes to the heat. But the rain chances, those will be here pretty much for today, and then they clear. Dallas-Fort Worth, unfortunately, took the brunt of it yesterday. Severe thunderstorms came through North Texas, and I wanted to show you some of the pictures of the hail that they saw. This was in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, some pieces huge. I mean, we're talking baseball-size hail in the Dallas area last night. This from Royce City, another from Argyle High School. Not only was it the hail, they had tornado warnings. They had flash flooding, high water rescues being done last night, too, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but also thousands still without power and flight delays. So if you're heading to Dallas this morning, make sure you're checking in with your airline. Some of those residual delays still lingering this morning.
Thank you, Kristen. Today, we could find out the identity of a person found dead in Austin's Shoal Creek. Police say officers pulled out the body around 7:30 last night.
Yeah, it happened near the intersection of 29th Street and North Lamar Boulevard. It's unknown how this person died at the time and ended up in the water.
This morning, we've learned the names of 2 victims found floating in the Llano River over the weekend.
Llano County Sheriff's Office says it's investigating the deaths as a double homicide after deputies found them on Saturday. And KXAN's Sarah Alshay shares how they'll be remembered by those who knew them.
I guess I'm still a little bit in shock because I just can't believe it.
It's news that Heidi Jackson and Waylon Osted were not expecting to hear. The Llano County Sheriff's Office says 2 bodies were found here. At the Slab, a popular gathering spot on the Llano River upstream from Kingsland, Texas. And Jackson says they knew them.
Caring, they talked to you when they saw you. They were just pretty cool people.
The Llano County Sheriff's Office says the victims were Mark Baldwin and Kelly McCormick. Their deaths are being investigated as homicides. A longtime friend of theirs, Shad Jackson, says the 2 were a couple.
They've been together for 8 or 10 years, I'm sure. They were basically inseparable. They love doing everything together.
The news has completely shaken him up. Baldwin has been his friend for years and years.
I actually met Mark at a washateria. We were both washing clothes and we just started talking and just became friends from that day on. I mean, that was 16 years ago, 15 years ago.
As the Llano County Sheriff's Office investigates these deaths, those close to them are left with questions as to why this happened.
We don't know if there's a murder on the loose or if it was an accident or if there was some, foul play of any sort. We just don't know about any of it.
And it just makes no sense, you know, it really doesn't.
Sarah Alshah, KXAN News.
We want you to know we did reach out to the Llano County Sheriff's Office about the investigation and asked whether there are any arrests, but deputies told us there's no update at this time.
So as we go in depth on this, it is the second time 2 people were killed in Llano County in recent months. In January, someone shot and killed a father and son there in Tao. Investigators found Preston Westling and his 14-year-old son Evan with gunshot wounds in their driveway. First responders pronounced both dead at the scene. Talked to a family member at the time who talked about that.
That's the type of person Preston was. He was the most generous person there was. And Evan, he was a good kid.
Investigators arrested 2 teens, charging them with capital murder. They're currently being held in the Guadalupe County Jail.
A shooting outside a nightclub in Houston, what police believe happened to someone opening fire on a crowd.
And still to come from KXAN Investigates, we're breaking down the difference between urgent care, freestanding ERs, and hospitals after a Round Rock woman has sticker shock when she was treated for a minor injury. Good morning, a live look outside up in Round Rock as we kick off this Monday morning here in the middle of June. We appreciate you being here with us. I want to tell you there's a man who may not make it after someone shot 6 people outside a West Houston club.
Yeah, police got there at the Taboo Bar and Lounge around 2 o'clock Sunday morning. And when officers got there, they said a disturbance inside the venue had moved into the parking lot and someone shot into a crowd. Officials said a male victim is in critical condition this morning. All the other ones are expected to be okay. Police have not identified any suspects and they do not know how many suspects are involved. The investigation is still ongoing. I-95 in Philadelphia shut down in both directions today after this, a vehicle fire causing part of the roadway to collapse, part of the freeway. This is the main roadway between the East Coast's 2 largest cities, New York City and Philadelphia. A commercial truck carrying a petroleum-based product caught on fire, causing a portion of the highway to collapse in Northeast Philadelphia early yesterday morning.
No reports of injuries here at this time, but coming up on Today, the latest details on that investigation and how officials are planning to reroute traffic between these 2 major cities.
Good morning. A massive explosion takes out a major highway here in the Northeast, it all centering on a tanker explosion along I-95. That's Interstate 95. The governor of Pennsylvania declaring a disaster declaration to get funds to begin the repair process, but officials warn it could create a traffic nightmare for many for weeks, and it's going to take months to repair this section of I-95. There are also environmental concerns. We'll have the very latest coming up on Today.
Thousands of dead fish ending up on a Texas beach. Why officials say they died and washed ashore.
A local nonprofit that provides free school supplies for teachers says it needs help. How you can contribute to teacher classrooms.
Price pinch, give it the hammer. Workload overload, give it the hammer. When times get tough, the tough, give it the hammer. Arm & Hammer, more power to you. Bad Boy Mowers. Born here, raised here, tested here, and proven here. With advanced engineering and power, a groundbreaking 3-link suspension, and personalized settings built for here. The fields, front lawns, and backyards of America. Bad Boy. Mow with an attitude.
Have a car? A title? You could get up to $10,000 with Title Max. Go to TitleMax.com and enter your car year, make, and model. See how much you could get. Check out TitleMax.com for the most cash you need. Check out TitleMax.com and shop us for rates. Check out TitleMax.com. All credit types accepted. Find out why so many people say,
I got my title back with Title Max.
I got my title back with Title Max.
Get your title back with Title Max.
Finding assisted living and skilled nursing for your loved ones can be overwhelming. Finding those same resources for a person with cognitive disabilities can be even harder. I'm Marcus Mercer, Vice President of Operations at Marbridge, serving 275 adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We're partnering with KXAN Simple Health to help you navigate through the best options. Marbridge can help you plan for the future and to secure and ensure a whole new life for your loved ones. For more information, go to kxan.com/simplehealth.
If you're looking for the best way to buy a pre-owned Honda, look no further than Honda True. You get less to worry about and more benefits. Choose from 3 different tiers with up to 10 model years of Honda vehicles, inspected by a Honda-trained technician. Discover why Honda True means less compromise and more of what you love about Honda.
Mosquito here, buzzing in to remind you to take steps to protect yourself from West Nile, Zika, and other diseases. First, wear long sleeves and pants. I can't get through them. Next, use EPA-approved insect repellent. It's like an invisible force field. Avoid the outdoors at dusk and dawn, and get rid of standing water. Even a capful is a great place to breed. 4 easy ways to make me buzz off. Go to austintexas.gov/mosquito to learn more.
I know you don't choose to wake up every day with foot, knee, hip, or back pain. Pain is not a choice, but doing something about it is. Best Feet has a new product that can get you relief the same day. Visit us at any one of our locations or book online at bestfeetusa.com.
Service Member Salute is made possible by DC Law, Austin's largest veteran-owned law firm.
Live look outside this morning, still dark, waiting on sunrise. That'll be about 6:28 this morning. And we got a good 14 hours and 4 minutes of daylight ahead of us, squeezing in a lot of sunshine today. Hey, want to tell you about this. Thousands of dead fish have washed ashore on the beaches of Brazoria County, Texas. Now, state park and wildlife officials are warning people to stay away from the beach. Experts say that low dissolved oxygen, which can lead to algae growth, seems to be causing this massive fish kill. Photos from Quintana Beach County Park capture just how many fish have been swept ashore. Crews have started removing the fish from the shore, but they say the issue continues. Officials say that the species most impacted was Gulf menhaden. Fish kills like this are common in the summer when temperatures start to rise.
4 children are alive after surviving in the Amazon jungle for 40 days. This crash happening last month when a plane declared an emergency due to an engine failure, carrying 6 passengers and a pilot. 2 weeks later, a search team found that plane, recovered the bodies of the 3 adults on board, including the children's mother. But that search continued for the kids, who range from ages 11 months to 13 years old. Searchers eventually found them on Friday. They went to a military hospital for treatment. And coming up on today, the remarkable story of how these children survived against all odds.
What a miracle.
Absolutely. I was reading this story and they were saying they were surviving off of fruit and seeds. And that 13-year-old, she knew the difference of what was poisonous and what was not. And that's how she helped some of her siblings. And I thought,
smart.
Stronger gal than I, right?
And I mean, and just to keep that 1-year-old baby alive, it's incredible.
Crazy, crazy story. Let me show you what's going on with your forecast here this morning. We've got severe storms up in the Panhandle. Nothing close to us, though. We stay dry for most of the day. As far as the temperatures go, it's very warm out there. 78 degrees, humidity making it feel even more comfortable. With the winds less than 10 miles per hour this morning, those winds will stay about 10 to 15 through the day today, coming right out of the south-southeast. That southeast wind pulling up more of that Gulf moisture. So our dew points, which is a direct measure of humidity or of a moisture, it is showing 60s and 70s. That's tropical-like air sitting on top of us. And you're going to feel it today with a forecast high of 100 and a feels like temperature up to 105. We want to make sure we're taking some time inside where there's AC during the peak heating of the day this afternoon. That 20% chance of rain, that's going to come later this evening. So the heat comes first, and then we're going to be watching for these rain chances around 7, 8 p.m. to start, peaking around 9, 10 o'clock, and then fading just after midnight. What is this going to potentially look like on radar? Well, if I put this into motion, you'll notice most of the day is just a mix of sun and clouds. By 7, 8 p.m., rain chances up north. Now, there is a chance that some of these storms don't even hold together long enough to reach us. But given what we've seen recently, the last couple of days, these storms have proven that they at least have enough strength to potentially clear some of our counties. So that's why that rain chance is low. It's only at 20%, but we'll continue to watch these storms around 10, 11 o'clock, and then they clear pretty quickly heading into tomorrow morning. That severe risk is a 1 out of 5 for the Austin Metro and pretty much right across the midsection of our area. As you work your way towards the north north, you'll find a 2 out of 5 risk for the Northwest Hill Country and a 3 out of 5 risk in Lampasas. Watching for large hail and damaging winds. Those will be the two primary concerns here. Pockets of heavy rain possible, but not everybody will see that. The heat gets worse. So that, I think, is going to be the main focus this week, is the fact that not only are we talking high temperatures around 104, 105 this week, look at the humidity matched with those temperatures. We're talking feels like temperatures up to about 108 to 110 at times. So I would not be surprised if we start to see some heat advisories go up, because this week looks brutal. Even by Central Texas standards, this is a hot forecast. 100 today with that 20% chance of evening storms, mainly towards the north and northwest. Drier skies tomorrow. And then every single day, we add just 1 to 2 degrees to those afternoon highs, topping out near 105 by Friday into the start of your Father's Day weekend.
You know, when you're signing off on things, you know, do you read every fine print? No. And I didn't. I probably didn't.
In pain and needing medical attention, this Round Rock woman says she got charged a hefty price for not paying closer attention.
And now she'd like you to learn from her experience when it comes to choosing one of those standalone or strip mall medical facilities that seem to be popping up just about everywhere. As KXAN investigator Mike Rush found out, while they may look similar, there are some major differences.
Sophie, I'm gonna get you. Sophie.
When Sophie's got to go, she's got to go, even if.
So it was the ice storm of January 31st. Want to go back out?
Kathy Gassman opened the door.
Good girl. So I noticed that the gate was closed, or almost closed, so I stepped out, and that's when I fell.
Ice on the patio.
And boom, I went right down. So I still opened the gate for the dog. And I went in to see what was happening with my body.
Her right wrist and left foot were hurting.
So I went to this freestanding emergency place, which I thought was like an urgent care.
The Brushy Creek Family Hospital, just minutes from her house in Round Rock. After a quick exam and a couple of x-rays, the prognosis, nothing broken. So with tape around her toes and a bandage on her wrist, Gassman went on her way. Days later,
I'm like, that's outrageous.
The bills came, one from the doctor, another from the facility.
It was over $10,000.
What Gassman didn't realize is that this facility where she came is not an urgent care. It's not a freestanding emergency room. It's actually a hospital, just on a smaller scale.
I had no idea.
Even though she did sign this form that day stating she was in a facility that was part of a group of freestanding ERs and hospitals.
It's certainly confusing.
Dr. Diana Fight is an emergency physician and past president of the Texas Medical Association. Between urgent cares, freestanding ERs, and small neighborhood hospitals,
it's a hard decision to make for the general public.
Dr. Fight says urgent cares are not state licensed, have limited services, don't stay open around the clock, and may have nurse practitioners or physician assistants instead of doctors and nurses on staff. They're typically less costly than freestanding emergency rooms in small hospitals. Those have rates similar to a traditional ER or hospital visit because they provide a higher level of care with 24/7 operations and are state regulated with certain mandates.
They have to have nurses there. They have to have physicians, ultrasounds, CAT scans, all sorts of medications, all sorts of requirements that an urgent care type of place is not going to have.
And as an industry, we've done our best to educate people.
Dr. Nathaniel Greenwood is the chief medical officer for Brushy Creek Family Hospital, where Gassman went. She gave him permission to speak with us about her case.
How do you justify those prices?
As you break it down and you explain the process and the game that's...
Greenwood says his smaller hospital with an ER still has full-size hospital prices because it's open 24/7 with doctors and nurses on staff and has 2 operating rooms and inpatient beds for longer stays. Despite what the bills state, he says they typically expect to get only a fraction of what they charge.
We send essentially an inflated bill and realize that the insurance company is not going to pay anything close to that.
It's a game you have to play.
It's a game that we play, and it's unfortunate.
As it turns out, of the more than $10,000 charged between the 2 bills, Gassman's insurance agreed to pay less than 10%, $950, an amount Gassman actually has to pay herself because she hasn't met her insurance deductible.
I just want people to know.
Hoping her story can spare others from sticker shock.
Read signs, ask maybe questions before you start filling things out.
Mike Rush, KXAN Investigates.
So Mike connected Gassman and Dr. Greenwood from Brushy Creek Hospital that you saw in that story, and they agreed that she could pay $180 to close the claim. And if you're confused about where to go if you're injured, here's some guidance according to the Texas Association of Freestanding Emergency Centers. Urgent cares are good for treating things like minor infections, flu symptoms, sprains, small cuts. Freestanding emergency centers are equipped for issues like heart attacks, strokes, open fractures, and head injuries.
Dr. Greenwood says small hospitals with emergency rooms have the same capabilities. So here's an easy way to know what you're getting into. If the facility that you're going to has the word emergency in the title, expect to pay those premium prices. The story started as a tip, and if you have something you think we should be investigating, let us know. You can send us an email to reportit@kxan.com.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
Good morning, all. Texas baseball had that thrilling comeback in Game 1 to take down Stanford in the Super Regionals, meaning they were just one win away from going back to the College World Series. Well, a day ago, they were trying to come back again and get back to Omaha. To Palo Alto we go. Texas looking loose. Stanford as well after they blew that lead in Game 1. LeBaron Johnson on the mound coming off that fantastic game in Miami in the regionals last week. Well, in the top of the second, scoreless until Timo Becerra sac fly, going to score Alberto Rios. And the Cardinal able to strike first in this one. Third inning was the big one for Texas last week in that 9-run frame against Miami, trying to close it out. They do the same here. Not quite 9 runs, but Jared Thomas, RBI triple. That'll bring home Mitchell Daly, who had a pretty big game in this one. That's some foreshadowing. They even things up. Later, Dylan Campbell had that hit streak broken in Game 1. This is not a hit, but it'll do the job. Sac fly, bringing home Jared Thomas. And looky here, Texas back in front, 2-1 in inning number 3. Top of the 4th, Longhorns still out by that same score. Tommy Troy going to plug the gap in right center. LBJ was just not quite as sharp and effective as he was back in Miami. And Stanford able to even things up at 2 right after that. Top of the 5th, still even at 2. Another double. This one to left, Braden Montgomery come on home. 3-2 Stanford. They take the lead. After that, Travis Staley going to come into the game for the Longhorns. Drew Bowser, man, it took a lot to get a ball out of that stadium at Sunken Diamond a day ago. That would have plenty. 5-2 Cardinal. They go in front. Bottom of the 6th, Texas looking to come back 2 out. Porter Brown on. Eric Kennedy going deep to center with a great at-bat, but Eddie Park, the outstanding center fielder for Stanford, able to run that one down. A heartbreak there. Yeah, nobody's going to catch this one, though, in the bottom of the 7th with the same score. Mitchell Daly, 404 feet of a tape measure shot into those ferns, some kind of tree oak, perhaps. I don't know what it is. Either way, into the trees in left center. Top of the 9th, though, 5-3 Eddie Park. He was great defensively and offensively now. 2-run single, 7-3. Stanford can start to feel it. And we thought LBJ had a long outing last week. How about Quinn Matthews for Stanford? 156 pitches, goes the distance, strikes out 16. Unbelievable performance in probably his last game wearing that Stanford uniform. Ooh. Very out of breath reading that one. Whole lot of highlights for Texas. So now Game 3 today. That's going to be at 7 p.m. Winner going to Omaha to face Wake Forest. The only other game also today, Southern Miss and Tennessee. 6 of the 8 spots in Omaha already decided. That is it for Morning Sports. We'll send it back to you.
Thanks for joining KXAN News today. You can also listen to KXAN News Nightly every weekday after 5:30 p.m. for in-depth coverage on what matters most to you.